Welcome back to the Josephine Review podcast. We are back with episode 16. Thank you for joining me. I am so happy that you guys have returned to enjoy a little weekly review with moi, okay? So, this episode is titled, Who in the Hell Left the Gate Open? Yes, the gate is open. I don't know why, I don't know how, but we will dissect that in this episode 16, okay? Please understand that the views I express on my podcast are that of my own, and you, my wonderful listeners, have the right to agree to disagree. If you miss any live shows from the Josephine Review podcast, you can catch me on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Anchor, social media platforms, Twitter and IG, and my website, thejosephinereviewpodcast.com, for the latest replay of the show's topics, okay? Feel free to leave your questions and comments. I just might respond, okay? Please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. Yes, tell your mama, tell your friends, tell everybody that I'm here to come watch me, come hang out with me, and follow me on social media, IG and Twitter, okay? I would love to see you there. Now, let's talk about it. Episode 16, we're going to start with Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion wrap up. Okay, so I left off talking about reunion episode 1, but now we're going to talk about reunion episodes 2 and 3. So first, let's get into the looks, because I talked about the main cast looks, but on episode 2, or part 2 rather, of the reunion, we see Shamia and Marlo. Okay, Shamia. Shamia is a beautiful woman, yes, but whoever put her look together, I don't think they like her. I don't think they like her. Like, I don't know what was going on or what was the mindset or the thought process behind her look, but it looked as though she was auditioning for the Pointer Sisters or LaBelle or Thundercats or Mad Max or something. I don't know. I was not feeling it. I did not like her hair. It was over teased. It was dry. The costumey, I don't know what that was. It was like Teen Witch or something. I'm aging myself naming all of these things, but yeah, I didn't like Shamia's look. She could have been put together much, much, much better. And in fact, she has been put together much better before. This time was a no-go. Marlotta, or Marlo Hampton. So Monty Marlo comes out with everything hanging out, okay? Sister Girl was like, look, I am not an auntie, I am a niece. She said she is a niece. She's going to show it all that she still has her niece body, okay? And yes, she can wear it, but she didn't need to show all of that, you know. Marlo is usually very classy. Too many labels, sometimes too many labels, but always classy, in my opinion. I felt like that look she had for the reunion it was just too much skin. Too much skin. She has a right to show whatever she wants on her body. It's her body. But I just felt it was too much. And it could have been a lot cuter if just there was a little more coverage going on in certain places, okay? Now let's talk about the actual episode. So I'm not going to say too much about it because a lot of what they talked about was a bunch of nothing, but I'll just skim through it real quickly, okay? So Marlo spoke up about her situation with Porsha, okay? So Porsha kind of was blasé about everything that Marlo had to say. She really did not want to address it, from my opinion. But Marlo wanted to get her point across, and honestly, she was right with all of her feelings, everything she thought and felt about Porsha acting a way towards her. It was real. She really did act a way towards Marlo that was negative. She did feel some type of way about Marlo and Kenya making amends from the get-go when she first heard those words. And that's just the type of person Porsha is. So I don't know why Marlo was shocked by the treatment she got from Porsha. And, you know, that's just who Porsha is. And I guess Marlo thought she was different from everybody else. Like, she's not going to get treated a certain way. But Porsha is about Porsha. And if you can't see that, especially after what's come out now, it ain't meant for you to see, okay? Now, in part one, I said that Kenya did not stand up for herself, but in the part two and part three of the reunion, Kenya stood up for herself. She spoke up and said what she had to say. Of course, she was met by Drew and Porsha's victim game, you know, their victim act, and or pretending like they did not care, you know. Well, we know Drew cared because Drew, you know, she was waiting on any moment to have a moment with Kenya, right? So I feel like Kenya was giving her too many moments, actually. But it's the reunion and you gotta let it all out there. So that's what we saw happen. I like that Kenya called Candy to the carpet about the whole bringing your baby on a trip situation. Really, it was Porsha that wound Candy up and stirred Candy's emotions up about, you know, being away from her kids, because we all know that that's something that bothers Candy, that she can't be with her kids as much as she would like to, because she's, you know, creating her legacy. She's a boss chick, you know, so she's doing what she has to do, and it gets to her sometimes, and Porsha played on that to have some backup to go at Kenya for a scene, and that's all that was. But Kenya and Candy, you know, they're friends, so they accepted what each other had to say and they moved on. Now, this whole Bolo thing, I'm so glad we never have to hear about it again. I don't care about Bolo. I don't care who slept with Bolo. I don't want to see Bolo. I don't want to hear his name. And in fact, I'm going to stop saying it right now. Okay. And I'm going to move on to wrapping up this reunion thing. It was okay. It did not deserve 3 episodes. They could have shut it all down after episode 2, part 2, actually. It could have been done, wrapped up with a little bow and set aside so we can get on to next season. And before getting on to Atlanta's next season, getting to Potomac. I can't wait till Potomac comes back. But I want to talk about what happened after the reunion. I was on vacation, okay? So that's why there was no episode uploaded last week. I had a little special party for someone very special to me, but that's not a part of this show. What I saw while I was on vacation was a post with Porsha, Simon, Gobatia, and Dennis, okay? Now, we know Simon Gobatia is or was Fallon's husband, okay? Fallon was on the show. So let's walk through this really quickly, okay? Porsha brings Fallon on the show as a friend, right? Scripted or non-scripted, she brought her on the show as a friend. What we know for a fact is that Fallon invited Porsha to her home where her husband resides. Where her husband resides, where the money resides. Where the money resides. And Porsha was singing that on the way there, wasn't she? You think she was singing that in her mind? Where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides. I think she was, because she went to that girl's house, that lady's house, with her butt cheeks hanging out. And I'm like, who goes to someone's house that is married with their butt hanging out. Yes, I know it is women's liberation and all this freedom and independence we women have, but come on now, there's a line of respect, okay? And you're not coming to my house with your body parts hanging out like that. Not like that. You can have your arms hanging out, you can have your legs hanging out, your feet hanging out, but not your backside and your front side. You need to cover that up, okay? Especially Porsha. You know, she comes to this woman's house with it all hanging out for show, okay? So that was the first thing that caught my attention. Like, why is she dressed like that? So then, Fallon's husband, Simon, is introduced to Tanya and Lauren, who came along with Porsha to the pool lounging, hanging out, or whatever you want to call it. And so when they get ready to jump in the pool, there's Simon at the front top of the pool sitting there smoking a cigar. And I'm like, if you know your lady is having friends over, go and make some business somewhere else. Don't you have something to do? You're an entrepreneur. Go entrepreneur some things, right? Go find some business to do and smoke your cigar. She have a cigar room with all your millions of dollars. Why are you here with the ladies? It was very creepy, very odd, right? So we don't really see Fallon that much throughout the season, which I find odd. I'm like, why aren't we really seeing Fallon, but we're seeing so much of LaToya and Drew, right? Even though Drew was a housewife and LaToya was a friend. But if LaToya is a friend and Fallon's a friend, so let's fast forward to after the reunion. All of these photos come out. The first photo is Porsha, Dennis, and Simon Gobatia. Simon Gobatia is Fallon's husband. Dennis is Porsha's fiance, child's father, former fiance, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Whatever they are, they're their thing. But in the picture, we see Porsha, instead of leaning towards Dennis, she's leaning towards Simon with her hand on his body. And I'm like, if I'm with my husband in a picture with his friend or just with them, I am not going to lean towards my husband's friend. I'm going to lean towards my husband. So I found that kind of odd, but I didn't want to read too much into it. So I said, okay, I'm just going to make a mental note that that picture looks odd. So then a few days later into my vacation, I see more. And it says Porsha and Simon are engaged. And they've been together for a month. Engaged. That does not make sense. Yes, I've heard of people getting married after 2 dates and all of that stuff, but I'm not buying this with Porsha, okay? First, whether you want to consider Fallon a friend, a former friend, a past friend, a getting to know type of friend, or whatever you want to call her in that situation, you went to her house, you met her husband, you knew her husband through your child's father when you were in a relationship with him. How can you then move on to this woman's husband? How are you engaged to a married man? He's married. They're not divorced yet. The ink is not dry. And we've seen cases where husbands and wives get into it, they have differences, they separate, they say they're going to divorce, and then the next thing you know, there's a turn of events, and they get back together. So how is that going to look for you, Porsha, if something like that were to happen? Or how about he just drops you like a hot potato and goes to the next chick he was seeing while he was seeing you? Because I'm sure there were many chicks he was cheating on Fallon with. And he posted this video a month ago about he and Fallon separating or whatever. And Fallon cheated on him. And I remember reading that like, I didn't really watch the video. I just read some captions or whatever. Because I was like, oh, what is this about? Nobody cares what's going on with you and Fallon, Simon. We barely know you. We barely know Fallon. So why are you doing this video? So now that this has come out about Simon and Porsha, I see that he was trying to get ahead of the story by setting it up like Fallon cheated on him, so now he's with Porsha and it's all good. And then we have Dennis in the picture smoking a cigar and smiling it up. It's it's the craziest thing I have ever seen. Simon, I don't believe Fallon cheated on you. I believe you use that story to make the situation that you're in with Porsha okay. And it's not okay. Porsha, you're dead wrong. I can't say that I expected more of you because you call yourself the queen of Thoughtlandia, right? You're the queen of Thoughtlandia. So that means you're the queen of them over there, right? You're the queen of that. So of course, you're not above slithering in like a snake and taking someone's husband. You didn't just take her man, you took her husband. They're on paper with ink that's dried and in a file cabinet in City Hall. You did that. And I'm just like, first of all, I thought that would be beneath a woman that's supposed to be so beautiful and so all that, you know. But I guess not. I guess it's really hard for you to get a man. You said it was so hard for Kenya to get a man. But I think it's hard for you to get a man when you have to take someone else's man. And people are saying, oh, you can't take somebody's man. You don't own a person and all this stuff. If I'm married to you, yeah, we together. We don't own each other, but we are a unit. We are one. When you get married, they say you become one. So if you're bringing part of my one with you, you're taking it, okay? And Porsha took her man. There's even a song called I'll Take Your Man by Salt and Pepper. So it is a such thing to take a man. And she took her husband. And I don't know if Porsha is pregnant. That's what's swirling around now. But if she is, more power to her. But the karma that's going to come for Porsha, my. I hope she's ready because it's not going to be pretty. I don't know if this is a setup for next season or they're trying to create a storyline for something or whatever. I don't know. The whole situation is crazy. It blew my mind. I know Fallon has to be embarrassed. She probably will never admit it. But she has to be embarrassed and feel in some type of way because she befriended a person that came in and imagined themselves in her shoes and then took her shoes and ran with them. Like, that is some cold-blooded stuff right there. Porsha is a dirty snake. She really is. And I can see how Porsha and Drew clicked the way they did. Even though I don't feel Porsha really cared for Drew in that way. But Porsha doesn't care for anyone in that way. She barely cares for her sister in that way. She was envious of her sister when her sister was pregnant. She was envious of Shamia, her best friend, when Shamia got married and had a baby. So, you know, Porsha is all for Porsha. I just can't believe that she had this trick in her bag like that. You know, it's a dirty game. Fallon, you know, there's going to be better and greater for you, my girl. But this whole thing coming out and Porsha is just so blasé about it and her fans are like, oh, why are people still talking about this? It's been a whole week and people are still talking about this. Yeah, people are going to talk about it because it's dirty. You know, in this day and time, that's why I named the show Who in the Hell Left the Gate Open, because it seems like the hellish behavior gets a pass. It's okay. Like, it's okay to be a thought. It's okay to be a mistress. It's okay to have multiple men and men to have multiple women. Or you get it how you live kind of thing. Like, what planet do y'all live on? I don't live on that planet. I think I just come here to visit just to see the craziness that's going on. But that kind of stuff does not fly in my world. It's not okay to be a mistress. It's not okay to be the side chick. and everybody is making that an okay thing. All Kenya did was say, "Ooh, Apollo is cute." And that was 12 years ago. And y'all still throwing steak knives at her back today. And y'all want us to let up off of Porsha in a couple of days? No. Porsha has to get it how she gives. Y'all have to keep that same energy that y'all give to everybody else. Porsha, I don't care that your family is supporting you through whatever. It's dirty what you did, and no good is going to come to you for how you played that. You get them how you lose them. No, you lose them how you get them. You lose them how you get them. Y'all know what I mean. But anyway, now looking at the turn of events with Simon and Porsha and Fallon, and knowing how Bravo coddles Porsha and they like adore her and they go out of their way to protect her image, I wonder if they already knew about Porsha and Simon, and that's why they cut back on Fallon in the show. Because think about this. If they actually showed Fallon throughout the season and she's brought on as Porsha's friend, they have to show her hanging out with Porsha. So that's going to make Porsha's situation look double worse when she comes out with Simon. So let's scrap all this Fallon Porsha get along gang stuff so that we can help Porsha present this. Oh, they weren't together, they were divorced. Oh, she's not really my friend. I don't really know her like that. You know, to help her usher that story along. And then they made Fallon look crazy with the whole empty Halloween party and the fighting and stuff with Toya. They just made Fallon look crazy. And it was all to benefit Porsha, I think. And now Porsha has a special coming out. They say it's a 3-part special about her activism. But we already know she says only certain Black lives matter to her. So I don't even know why they're doing this special. But again, Porsha is Bravo's darling, you know. Yes, Kandi gets a lot of specials. Kandi gets a whole lot with Bravo. But that's because Kandi is a boss chick. Kandi is on her game all the time. It has nothing about her being their little darling. It's about her being baby Oprah. That's the way I feel about Kandi. I love Kandi. But Porsha, girl, I'm still in shock about the whole thing, and it's crazy. It really is. But we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about music news because I'm a music lover. So let's get into the music and leave this crazy hell-raising stuff where it needs to be. Push that back in the gate and close it. Okay, so in music news, Nicki Minaj released a mixtape this past week, and I listened to it. It's a lot of tracks on there, and when I was first listening to it, I said, I think I heard these songs before, or these are songs that were throwaway tracks from her old albums that didn't make it to her old albums, and she's releasing them now for some reason. And then after I did more research, I thought about it. I said, oh, I think this is about streaming. Nicki re-released old music so that she can get the streaming benefits from it, which is very smart. You know, that's very smart. Why not? And, you know, I can't say I'm really a fan of the songs that I heard. I do like Nicki, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the mixtape too much. I do hear a lot of Foxy Brown influence in the music. I don't know. She re-released these songs for streaming revenue purposes, and that's it. So I can't really say too much about old music, you know. I'm not really a big Wayne fan. I was more, when the Hot Boys were out and Cash Money was on top, I was more of a BG Juvenile fan. But the verse that Wayne spit on Seeing Green is A1. Like, I listened to that and I was like, oh, okay, wait. Now, he's not talking about lasagna. He's not talking about moolah. He's not talking about goons and goblins. He's actually flowing and I can understand what he's saying. I said, okay, I like this. I would have to say if I listen to any song on Nicki's new release, it'll be probably that song with Wayne, Seeing Green. Drake is on there. He sounds how he always does, like Drake. Gucci Mane is on there. I believe Draco. She make it clap, clap, clap. He make it clap. You know, Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy produced a song or two on there. And who else was on there? I believe G Herbo is on there. And, you know, Nicki's back. So that's nice to hear Nicki's back, especially after losing her dad and bringing beautiful life into the world. We both had sons, and we had our sons, I think, like a month or two apart. So congratulations to Nicki, and congratulations to me. But, you know, Nicki's back. I don't have much more to say. Moving on to Migos. Migos released a single called Straightening. I listened to it. It sounds like old Migos, but it sounds like old Migos, like an old song, nothing new. It didn't catch my ear. I wasn't like, you know, what was that song? Whoop, 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 whoop. Like, when that song came out, it was like, I can't remember the name of the song. But when that song came out, I was like, oh yeah, that's my song. But Straightening, I don't know. It's like a cut on an album that should have just been on an album. It's not really a single type song. Stir Fry, that's the song. I love Stir Fry. Like, Straightening needed to give me the stir fry feeling, and I didn't really get that. I just got like a cut that should have stayed on the album. But you know, Migos is back, and hopefully they release more music, more stuff that I can get into. Next is one of my favorites, J. Cole. J. Cole released his latest project called The Off Season. The Off Season I listened to twice so far, and I love it. Of course I love it because I love J. Cole. I'm a J. Cole, Kendrick, Wale, Nas type of girl, you know. So I'm going to say J. Cole left no crumbs on the floor with this latest release. I love it. It's like Nas meets Tribe Called Quest. And I like Tribe Called Quest too. I like jazzy rap. And I feel like J. Cole rides that wave a little bit, you know. My favorite track on this project is called Everything on the Album. Okay, Everything on the Album. But I definitely have to say I have Amari, Let Go My Hand, Interlude, and Close on repeat. I have that on repeat. I love those songs. I love the album. Let Go My Hand, he goes completely off. And Interlude, he goes completely off. And I'm just glad he released some more music. He's living up to his name, Cold World. Cold World Cold. He said he's going to retire soon. And I'm like, retire? Why? Why? Kendrick's not putting nothing out right now. Kendrick, where are you, K-Dot? Where is K-Dot? Where is K-Dot? I don't know if that's a smart move, J. Cole. I know you want to fulfill your basketball dreams, but you can do that and still rap. You know, I don't know. But it'll be a sad day if J. Cole retires from rapping. It really will be. Now moving on to our next topic. So I don't know if you all experienced any problems with the gas shortage, but when I was getting ready to leave from my vacation to come back home, I wanted to fill my car up so I won't have to get up 4 in the morning to put gas in the car. And every gas station we went to, there was no gas. There was bags on the pumps. And this was before the reports came out about the gas shortage. So I'm like, what is going on? And the crazy thing is, my car runs on diesel. So I also had to ride around just to find a gas station that had diesel gas. I was like, what? You know, but anyway, we managed to find it. And then once we got back home, it's on the news on CNN and the Associated Press about the gas shortage. And I was like, oh my God, the gas lines were hacked. The Colonial gas line was hacked. And I'm like, of all things, not the gas. Not the gas. But you know, like I said, my car takes diesel, so I'm so glad I didn't have to worry about regular or unleaded or premium or anything like that. I used to have a car, well, I had a few cars that ran off premium gas, and I'm just glad I didn't have to deal with those lines or any of that. Hopefully they get that under control soon. We're going to move on to Rihanna. Okay, so Rihanna made a statement on social media about the Palestine fight that's going on, a war that's going on right now. And she got a lot of flack about her statement. And so I had to go and look at the statement. And when I read it, I was like, I don't understand what everybody is so upset about. Because she was not making a statement about the war, why they're fighting in the war. That was not her concern in her statement. Her statement was directed to the casualties of the war. So she was speaking of the children who are affected on both sides. I see nothing wrong with what Rihanna said. You know, she didn't say Palestine was oppressing anyone or that anyone was oppressing Palestine. She spoke specifically about the casualties of the war, the children on both sides. Children don't have the wherewithal to make a decision and say whether they want to fight for anything. You know, they're kind of born and strung along through these disasters, through these wars. And so she was only saying that she feels sorry for the children. You know, not necessarily the reasoning of the war. And then she got attacked. And she got attacked because they have so many people with limited amounts of understanding. So many people that are operating on 2% of their brain, which is really sad. You know, I remember I was doing a research paper in college years ago, and I came across this one article titled "The Dumbing Down of America." And they were talking about how they were putting things into play, like orchestrating things to dumb down society and to desensitize society. Now, this was back in the early 2000s, and now here we are in 2021, and I think they were successful at dumbing down society and desensitizing society, because if you just read social media and you'll see how people don't know the difference between 2-T-O and 2-T-O-O. And if I hear women to describe one woman, I think my head is going to blow off. It's just crazy, you know? But I think that's why people misunderstood what Rihanna was saying, because of their limited abilities to use their critical thinking skills. But she was talking about the children and nothing more. So Rihanna Rihanna did nothing wrong, okay? So moving on to Felicia Rashad, one of my favorite people. She is someone who inspired me growing up. I watched The Cosby Show looking at her in awe because I just always thought she was an amazing, regal, classy woman. And she has something great happened for her recently. She has been named the Dean of the College of Fine Arts by her alma mater, Howard University. Felicia graduated magna cum laude from there, and she will now have a chance to pay it forward to students who I'm sure look up to her and respect her the same as I do. I think it's amazing. I wish I was in school right now a little bit, just a little bit. I don't really wish I was in school, but I wish I was in school just so I can attend one of her courses, or not her, she's not teaching, but to attend the college that she's the dean over, the Fine Arts College. That would be so cool. Like, oh, I need to talk to the dean. You'll make an appointment, and there's Felicia Rashad coming to talk to you with her calming voice and tone. But anyway, so we're gonna move on to my favorite topic of my show. Did you know? Did you know? Today, we're going to talk about civil rights activist and prosecutor Alberta Odell Jones. Okay, Alberta Odell Jones was born November 12th, 1930 in Louisville, Kentucky, and she died August 5th in 1965. She was the first black prosecutor in Jefferson County, Kentucky, and one of the first to pass the bar exam. How amazing is that? At a time when they would say black people didn't have intelligence, we were barely human. And here she was, a young black woman attending college and being one of the first to pass the bar exam. That's amazing. She graduated from Howard University School of Law. So I guess HU was just in the news this week, right? For good, positive things. That's good. She was Muhammad Ali's first attorney negotiating his first fight as Cassius Clay. She introduced Ali to former boxing champ Archie Moore, who became a trainer for Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. During Alberta's time as an activist, she attended the March on Washington in 1963. As a result, she formed the Independent Voters Association of Louisville, Kentucky, and was very involved with the Louisville chapter of the Urban League. She rented voting machines and taught African Americans how to use the machines to vote. She was also active in the NAACP. And what made me want to talk about her, just saying that just now, she reminds me of Stacey Abrams, kind of the same work, kind of the same tenacity. And, we need to keep our fallen heroes on the forefront of our mind, on the forefront of our history. So that's why I'm talking about Alberta Odell Jones in our Did You Know today. Now, as wonderful and as amazing as she was, her life came to an untimely end by the hands of our well-known enemies. You know the story. The Europeans who have an aversion to our brown skin. They are always there to take one of us down. Very sad. This story is on repeat in our history. And it's so sad that I have to tell this story about her demise, She was murdered, and the investigation into her murder, which was severely delayed by Louisville, Kentucky police, almost didn't take place. They wanted to sweep it under the rug. They tried to pass it off as a drowning. She was drowned, but when she was drowned, she was already gone. She had already passed when they threw her in the water. So she really didn't drown, technically. She just was thrown in the water after she was bludgeoned, okay? The drowning was not the complete story, and Louisville police contributed to her murder never being solved. So this story proves that Louisville, Kentucky police and Louisville, Kentucky has always been a source of contention for Black and brown people. You know, I don't think it's a safe place for us. And for those of us that have to live there, I send my prayers up to you. You know, really anywhere we have to live, we have to pray each and every day that we're covered, because these folks don't care about us. They really don't. There was a follow-up police investigation that determined she was beaten unconscious with a brick, and witnesses recalled seeing her body tossed by 3 unidentified men from the bridge where her purse was later found. Okay, so if there were 3 witnesses that saw this incident, the criminals were definitely identified to the Cricket Police Department that left her case open and unsolved, right? Same old story. In 2017, efforts were made to reopen the Alberta Jones case. Detectives involved in the initial investigation were interviewed in the hopes that new leads had surfaced over the 52 years since the killing. Professor and attorney Lee Remington, who was doing research for a biography, found clues to the murder and sent a letter to the Louisville police, who agreed to reopen the case. So they are now reinvestigating, or finally investigating, what happened to Alberta Jones, one of the first prosecutors in Louisville, Kentucky, one of the first to graduate law school as a Black woman in Louisville, Kentucky. The Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice also began an investigation, and it is being funded by the Emmett Till Unsolved Civil Rights Crime Act. Now, the Emmett Till Civil Rights Crime Act provides $13.5 million annual funds to the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the law enforcement agencies, the local law enforcement agencies, to investigate and prosecute pre-1970 killings. They get all this money, and they can't even solve the current murders. But they get all this money. I don't know how I feel about that. Alberta Odell Jones, first Black prosecutor in Kentucky, civil rights activist, champion for voting rights, and member of the NAACP, is our Did You Know of the day. Let us not forget our fallen soldiers, and that is our Did You Know. Okay, now it's time for our last segment of the show, motivation and inspiration of the day. Okay. Our motivation and inspiration of the day is be your own cheerleader. Yes, be your own cheerleader. It's very important. Sometimes you have to give yourself the pep talk you're waiting for someone else to pull you aside for. There will always be the cheer squad that wants you to fail, or gives you the tiniest compliment in hopes that it doesn't stick, or in hopes that your idea fails so that you won't surpass them in the game of life. We all know those people. We encounter them often. The goal is to ignore them, block them out, pretend they don't exist, or what they say does not reach your ear canal, okay? And whatever they say that's negative, you have to replace it with positive affirmations and repeat them, the positive affirmations to yourself often, okay? You must bypass the negative. It is very important that you bypass the negative things you encounter in your life. That low vibrational energy does not serve you any purpose. It's only going to bring your energy down, you see. But by cheering yourself on and giving yourself all of the positive, affirmative things you can think to say will help boost your self-esteem. It would help boost your confidence and get you to where you need to be. Because not only will you start to believe it, you will start to feel it, and the universe will return it to you. What you put out is what you get back. It's like a boomerang. Your mind is a boomerang. Your thoughts are a boomerang. And words are real. They're important. Words contain energy. And so you must be cognizant of the things that you say and you put out so that you get that positivity back to you. Okay? So you must affirm positive things for yourself. Do this daily and see your life change. Be your own cheerleader. It's very important. Who cares if they say, oh, you're not humble, oh, you're not whatever. Be humble, but don't listen to that, okay? Don't listen to people who are telling you to dim your light, essentially, because that's what they're doing when they tell you not to champion yourself. Be your own cheerleader, okay? Well, that's our show, guys. Until the next episode, please leave your questions and comments below. Let me know if you have any topics you want me to speak on. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Tell everyone to watch the Josephine Review podcast, okay? And before I bid you adieu, I hope the motivation and inspiration of the day inspired you. Now, may God bless you and His way impress you. Later.